People that in that house are doing. So first of all, I have to just say to somebody, to say to somebody, sorry. So basically, I knew this last week and the week before. I knew about this. It's only been publicised now. The Monaghan County Council did have the coronavirus. I knew about this. I know of the county councillor. I never met him to say. He was beside me a few times. Had a few open hours mates of different things, and I remember seeing him. And obviously he has the coronavirus, which just goes to show you, I'm not at liberty to say, if anybody in Cavan County Council has it, I'm not at liberty. It's not up to me to say anything. That's why I didn't say anything, because I said it's better to come for him or come from the local authorities if they think it's necessary to talk about it. And obviously he said it first before anybody else, so obviously it wasn't up to me to say. So that's it, just to say to people, because people have been asking me why I never said anything, and because it just wasn't up to us, as the other local authorities to say anything. It was up to him, and it was up to the local authorities down there to say. But I do wish him all the recovery, and I do wish him well. Please God he's alright, and please God his family's alright. We're taking off him at this time. So yeah, in Cavan, I'm afraid to say, it's starting to become a nightmare, and that's what it is. It's already a nightmare, but it's getting to be like we're dreading what could come next, and we might as well say straight. Because today's numbers are 15 cases, and as I said, if it goes above 20, and if it keeps going over 20, then we're basically in a very tough situation. Because then there's less people there's few people recovering, but there's more cases being added. So that's what we're trying. We're trying to balance the scale. But the scale is starting to tip a small bit. But please God, we can try and even it out a bit, even for the heaven's sake. At least if we could even it out. But 709 cases in the county. There's nearly 10,000 people. 100,000. Sorry, not the 100,000 people, isn't it? 100,000. It's 9,000 something. I can't do figures at all. But it's very. Cavan has a huge population of Monaghan or Leitrim, and that Leitrim is faring the best out of all this, and that's because there's only 32,000 people in Leitrim, and Leitrim generally is a small county, which they're able to cope better. And I really do admire Leitrim County Council. They do have a good measure. I was looking at what their response is, and they're doing very well. And I have to say Leitrim's numbers are not skyrocketing. And unfortunately, as I was talking to somebody else, barely 6 weeks ago now, there was only 4 cases of Cavan. We had it contained. And we phrased that we had it contained. We had 4 cases before 6 weeks ago, before this lockdown even happened. We had 4 cases. And we contained it. We contained it before it spread it. We got we trapped the virus. We got the people. But we're just we're gobsmacked in how came about, because we successfully dealt with that issue. Then we hold it off for it happened then another 3 weeks later. That's just something I'm just trying to see what's happening with that. But obviously it's very early days, and obviously there'll be time to look into it when the time comes. But so unfortunately I do have to say another thing too. Unfortunately there is a lot more people dying in Cavan and Monaghan. And I will say that straight, because this time last year there was 45 people at most the end of last month who died from natural causes, things like that, accidents. No, it was actually 55, something along them lines, 45, 55, something along them lines, from natural causes, things like that. At least maybe I'm wrong, but I might be a bit wrong. I'm just trying to take. Because maybe I'm mixing it up or something. I might be mixing it up. I don't know. But I was looking. The figures are very upwards in Cavan, and that's down to a few other things too. Don't take my numbers correctly. Just saying that, because I might be wrong. I really just don't know. I'm thinking about it in my head. I'm trying to remember. Maybe I'm picking that number out of somewhere else by mistake. But there is a lot more people dying, I'm afraid, to say in Cavan, and that's very plain to see by looking at the death notices. There's a lot more people dying than really there wasn't a long time in Cavan. That's down to a lot of things. But yeah, God bless them and God help them. It's tragic. It's really tragic, especially when you can't grieve in a church. At least you can grieve in ordinary times. you know, it's just that liberty's been taken. So very sad, but please God it'll be ended soon. But in Monaghan, you know, it's a bit more good news. 3 new cases, which is a lot more than what I said there. 15 cases, that's a big jump. In cases in Cavan, but 3 in Monaghan. So Monaghan seems to be faring pretty well. In other words, I know it's still 3, but you know, it's still faring pretty well. That it's not skyrocketing in Cavan. Like it's very hard to know where it's going to go in Cavan. I might as well say it very straight to people. Like, we don't have a clue where we could be tomorrow. Could be 20 cases. It could be 10. It could be even none. Like one day we had none, and that was amazing that day that we had none. And we thought, you know, this could be the turning point. But you know, we were wrong again. Again, we were wrong. But you know, this virus, you just can't predict, and you can't predict what can happen. That's the same with life. You just can't predict. I wish we could. I wish we could predict you know, how many more people would be infected. At least we could maybe do something. We find some kind of solution. But you know, it's just a guessing game, and that's as simple as that. It's just a guessing game and how we can deal with it. But hopefully, please God Almighty, this soon calm down. Please God, it calms down some kind of somewhat, even if it takes a small bit of the virus out. Then we'll be able to deal with it. But you know, at the moment we find ourselves in this situation still. But I just want to say to people in Cavan again, you know, please, if you don't feel okay, you don't be afraid to ring Pay the House. Don't be afraid to ring SOSAT. Don't be afraid to talk to your friends. Don't be afraid to talk in general. Please do talk and be safe out there and take care, everybody. And bye.